Hey, it's me, Bad B. I'm back. I brushed my wig. Now it's like too fluffy. I thought I would talk about my sentinel lymph node biopsy and retroareola biopsy. So I had to stay overnight in hospital. Like, to be completely honest, it wasn't as bad as the port surgery. I had to get there at 6 a.m. Oh yeah, I had to do a rat test before I went in. I had to fast from midnight before, so obviously I stayed up to try and eat as late as possible. I couldn't have water from 5 a.m, which sucks because they had to cannulate me to get the anesthetic in, and I was like, why can't you use my port? And they were like, ooh. Anyway, it didn't work the first time, but it did work the second time. Still hurt. Had to fill out all this paperwork, changed into surgery outfit, I guess. It included these compression socks. I went into like a waiting area where I was sitting with all my junk, and then I went into a second waiting area that was on a bed, and they took all my stuff away. The pre-operating room where they get you ready before surgery. So that involves like the anesthesiologist doing the anesthesia. But then there was also like a trainee guy, and he was just kind of standing there, and I was just like, you got to distract me. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, tell some jokes. And he's like, I only know them for children. And then I was like, I don't care. And then he's like, what's brown and sticky? And I was like, a stick. And then he's like, oh, damn. And I was like, I'm a teacher. But then the anesthetist, anesthesiologist, I don't know the difference. Anyway, she was really fun, told me all these jokes that I can't remember now. So my breast surgeon came in, who is the cousin to my mother-in-law's friend. And I was like, thank God, because it was meant to be this other guy who is head of surgery, but I don't know why he wasn't there. There was this thing, an announcement over the PA system, and it was like, code red. And then they were like, pretty calm about it. Oh yeah, code red, guess you can't start for a while. Can you just go check to the trainee anesthesiologist? And then I was like, oh yeah, what's code red? And they were like, fire. And I was like, okay, cool. Then I guess I fell asleep. And then the next thing I remember, I woke up in the next waiting area, which is when they get your ward bed ready. And I just remember I had the mask on, and they were like, can you take some deep breaths? Try and breathe without the mask. And I was just like, oh, really sleepy. And I had these two nurses with me, and one of them was like a middle-aged guy who was just like so happy and like so chipper, and this young girl who was just like kind of over it. It was their last day, I guess, in surgical services. And then he was just like so happy. And then he's like, yeah, do you want some water? I was like, yeah, like your mouth gets super dry. And then I tried to sit up, so I drank some water, and then I was like, oh, I feel kind of nauseous. And then the female nurse gave me a bag, and I was just like, yeah, am I okay? But then I just churned up all the water, and they were like, oh, it might be from the anesthetic. I was like, I don't know, maybe I drank water too quickly or like sat up too quickly. But then they gave me some, I guess it was dexamethasone in my IV, and it just like went all red, and I was just like, oh, is that normal? And they were like, maybe it just went in too fast. And I was like, okay. But anyway, yeah, so he was so chipper, and like he had a wedding ring on that was super, oh, I haven't put mine on yet. He had a wedding ring on, and I was like, wow, it's such a nice wedding ring. And he's like, yeah, my wife chose it. I was like, oh, that's so nice. She did really well. And then he's like, yeah, we got married 5 days ago. And I was like, oh, congratulations. Should you be on your honeymoon? He's like, no, she's in China. And I was like, oh. But apparently, like, she's going to come move here soon. And then, like, he told me he came to Australia, like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something with his ex-wife. And he was actually an engineer in China, but then he couldn't get a job as an engineer, so he retrained as a nurse, and he, like, really loves it. And I was just like, oh, my God. Like, but then, yeah, he ended up showing me his, like, wedding photo slideshow video, which was so nice because I was just so out of it. Then they said the ward was ready, and then I got wheeled in, and, like, I'm in the public system, so I had to share my ward with this lady who was like super nice. It was just us two. But okay, I've been living in Japan for ages, so my idea of phone etiquette might be a bit stricter than other people's, but she kept playing videos on her phone like super loud, and then she was calling people on speakerphone. And I mean, I couldn't understand Spanish, so I didn't know what she was saying, but like it was just like, if I could understand like everything you're saying. Luckily, I took my Beats Fit Pro, like the little tiny purple ones, because I was trying to binge Arrow before they took it off Netflix, and they're noise cancelling, so that helped. Got into the water like 11:15. You know, I didn't really feel pain until like 6 p.m. that day, which is pretty good. And they were like, okay, so you can have Panadol or something. I don't know, it didn't really do much, I guess. It kind of only hurts if I move it. But then they also gave me endone, which is oxycodone, which is so tiny, super strong. But yeah, they gave me a prescription for it when I went home, and it's like only 4 pills. So I was like, okay, gotta ration those out. But yeah, it was so funny. So my breast surgeon, before the surgery, she's like, so we're gonna inject a dye. It's going to make your pee blue and then your poo blue. And I just laughed. But yeah, it totally does make your pee blue for like a day, and then it turns aqua, and then it turns back to pea color. And yeah, it does make your poop blue. I can say that with confidence. But yeah, my skin is still blue. This is what it looks like. I mean, I've got bandages on. I feel way better and I'm in way less pain than with the port. And I had the cutest nurses. So they were like young and Asian. We just got along so well. And one of them does cosplay. And I was like, girl, you look amazing. They were like, yeah, you have a really good shaped head. And I was just like, stop looking at me. I'm like so bold. And like, I never go out without a wig or anything, but like obviously I'm in hospital. She's like, yeah, no, you look great. Does it get itchy? I'm like, yeah, it's not comfortable. I mean, I have a medical wig, like 2 medical wigs. One's my hair, one's just human hair. She's like, yeah, because I do cosplay. It's like, you look amazing. She's like, you should do cosplay. And I'm like, I don't know many animes, but also like, I don't know. I didn't think I'd be good at the makeup and shit. And she's like, yeah, styling the wigs. She's like, yeah, I don't do that. She's like, yeah, I mean, look, I brush it and it looks terrible now. But otherwise it'll get all nutty and disgusting, whatever. But yeah, that was super fun. And like one of them, he was a nursing student and was just like so happy and excited to be there. And then so I guess the nurse, she was like, oh yeah, he can take your vitals. And he was like so excited. They had to do it every half an hour. But yeah, he was like so excited. And then like he ended up just coming to chat with me like in my room, which was super fun. And then they're like, yeah, you should, walk around. And I was just like, I'm wearing a gown, my ass is hanging out. Like, and they tried to get me like pajamas. They totally did it. And then we did a photo shoot. It was super fun. But then anyway, before like they finished for their shift, he like took me on a walk that was a tour of the hospital. And he used to work in mental health and then like introduced me to his mental health nurse friends. It was like so fun, so nice. Like I legit wish we could have been friends, but like obviously probably can't. Hospital food, yeah, interesting. It wasn't too bad. I was surprised they had soy milk, but the annoying thing is I'm allergic to buckwheat. And they were like, it says you're allergic to wheat. And I'm like, no, I'm not allergic to wheat. I'm allergic to buckwheat. And they're like, yeah, we've got you on gluten-free. I'm like, no, but buckwheat is gluten-free. More likely to be in gluten-free food. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, oh, the first night I had this quiche and it was pretty good, but it was just really small, so I was just hungry. Breakfast was gluten-free muesli, which just kind of tasted like you'd left cornflakes out for too long. Then lunch was like roast chicken. The amazing thing was this creme brulee. It was so good. Okay, obviously it wasn't creme brulee, it was just kind of a pudding, but it was delicious. I have to do some PT exercises. I still have a runny nose. There's like 3 levels of PT. So it's like first you've got to like do this and then do this. But then like next level is like you've got to, did I do this one already? I don't know. Okay, next level is like this. Oh, to get the stretch out. The worst thing, that night I had to have a blood thinning injection, a subcutaneous blood thinning injection. So it was into my belly fat. I had to do this with the filgrastim or the Neulasta, so fine. I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they're like, don't worry, it'll be fine, it won't hurt. We'll pinch really hard. And I'm like, okay. It hurts so much. It's bruised and it just kept bleeding so much. I think maybe like nurse friend went into my muscle or like went too far. Anyway, hurt like a mofo. Hurt way more than anything else. But yeah, that was my sentinel lymph node biopsy and retro areola biopsy. We'll see how those go. I haven't gotten the results yet. Yeah, so yesterday I went to see my oncologist because I started Herceptin on the Thursday that I got the Lymphoscintigram. And Herceptin was fine. I didn't notice anything different. But she's like, yeah, I thought we would have gotten the results by now, but we haven't. So she's like, you have to come back next week. And she's like, how have you been feeling? I'm like, yeah, pretty good. I vacuumed. She's like, you're not supposed to. I was just like, yeah, just a little bit. But then she's like, yeah, you have to do some PT exercises. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So next Tuesday, I have to go back in to see my onc. Hopefully I have the results of this. And she's like, if there's cancer, then we'll have to change you from Herceptin to Kadcyla. Not excited for Kadcyla because it's basically another chemo. Like one of my breasties was on it and she like kind of went blind. Like not blind, but like her vision was like severely compromised. She went to eye doctors and they're like, yeah, your eyes are fine. And it's just like, they're not fine. She can't see. So I'm a little bit afraid. Fingers crossed there's no cancer behind my nipple and in my lymph nodes. Ooh. Hopefully I'll have surgery in a few weeks or so. That's what my breast care nurse said. So fingers crossed. Stay tuned. Cancer journey. I'll keep doing my PT. Oh my God. And they're like, yeah, you should go for a walk. But it's like, I have a bandage. I'll show you. I have a bandage that's basically on my underarm. So I can't wear deodorant and I can't like clean this. I don't want to be all stinky and disgusting for when they finally do take off this. But they said they'd call me in 10 days for a follow-up with the surgical team. So yeah, stay tuned. See how that goes.